In this video, we're going to walk you through how to utilize a tool like Resolume to curate visuals for a worship song. I'm joined by Ezra Cohen from Sunday Screens, and this guy has designed visuals for a lot of the major worship artists out there and the tours that they do. So whenever you see the incredible graphics on the big LED walls, this is the guy behind a lot of what you've probably already seen in the past. And I wanted to have him walk us through what this could be like for us in a smaller to mid-sized local church context, working with an altitude LED wall. Like, what's your philosophy? How do you approach this? And then the practicality of building out a song in Resolume.
One of my favorite things about using Resolume, like we covered in the last video, is the ability to kind of use layers and kind of build the dynamic over time in a worship song. This is such a powerful tool that kind of gives us the complete control where, you know, in the past we might have just had sort of one look that we have to stick with for the whole song, or we have to have this big sort of like drastic cut, you know, to the next element that we want to bring on screen. And all those things can be really distracting. You know, even if someone has their eyes closed, every change that you make on a screen this beautiful and big is going to, you know, affect that moment. And so we want to, you know, use these tools at our disposal to really be able to steward these worship moments better. And so, for example, we've got this first column that's set up, and you can see we've got 3 layers. I've got my MIDI controller, and I would, you know, sort of walk you through how I would sort of introduce these elements within a worship song. So let's just start from scratch, and we'll turn off all these layers. And let's just say, you know, a pad is kind of creeping in, right? And this is a nice little worship moment. We get to bring in this first visual. Now, the way that we've built, you know, visuals within Sunday Screens is a lot of them are very modular, which allows you to kind of like grow that dynamic as the song progresses. So this is Breaking Light 01, right? This is sort of the base layer of this look. We're then going to fade in Breaking Light 03. Right? So you can see, imagine a chorus comes in and we get a little bit sort of more dynamic in the music. Now that sort of third, you know, dynamic layer, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm just going 1, 3, and 5 here. That's really going to bring a lot to the moment without distracting. It doesn't feel like a hard cut. It's a nice fade. And then let's say we get even bigger with a bridge. You know, we can fade in this Breaking Light 05. And these things are built to work together. You know, they're built by the same designer with a very sort of, you know, perfectly, you know, curating for a worship environment. And then let's just say we kind of bring it back down all the way to number 1, right? So that's just one example. And these, you know, that's sort of based on dynamic. Let's kind of move on to our next column here. And I'm going to show you what it could look like to do something with, you know, introducing elements from different packs, but being creative with that in the same way. So here we have like this simple clouds loop. It's sort of nature, you know, this could be great for a fast song, a medium song, sort of anything in that range. But again, we want to just introduce something a little bit different, you know, let's say in the chorus or the bridge. I'm going to fade in this little border look, and it just brings an extra little bit of white, right? And that white, it just kind of adds a little pop, kind of brings your eye to the screen again, but in a way that's not super overwhelming or distracting. And then let's just say, you know, we're moving on, and it's a song that's, you know, singing the name of Jesus. Well, now we have this element of this word, this Jesus sort of this outline that's really beautiful and really sits nicely in the design that we've built here. And so this is pulling from 3 different collections in Sunday Screens, but again, they're really built to be ingredients, especially the Declarations and the Essentials collections. Those are really built as tools for you to be able to use in Resolume to start changing the dynamic without being distracting.
So this is pretty mind-blowing to see the power of Resolume and then using it with a resource like Sunday Screens and the content they have and thinking about it as really ingredients that you piece together in this software. Show us just a few more examples of what this could look like.
Yeah, totally. So again, we'll kind of bring all these down. We'll trigger, let's go for this 4th column here that I've got on this MIDI controller. We're going to bring up the first layer, which is kind of like this glowing orb. Kind of this sphere that's kind of, I don't know, just feels like sci-fi and kind of fun. Then we could kind of, again, introduce something like bringing up these stars, which is very, very subtle, but really adds a little bit of something. Let's bring that border back for the 3rd layer. And then I think we could even go with another element from that spheres pack and kind of actually transition the entire thing to a brighter look. And then, you know, you can kind of see those stars there. You could totally leave them on, or you could bring them back, you know, right back down. Now you have this beautiful look that we've kind of evolved, again, with the intention, you know, in these visuals is that you can do that. And so you notice that, you know, sizes aren't changing. We're not having these big, weird crossfade moments. It's very intentional.
Yeah, and it's cool, like, seeing use cases like this. You can see the benefits of LED technology and the dynamic range of the screen where, you know, when it is black, it's black. Of course, we might have a little bit of spill coming on from where we're positioned with these spotlights right now that are kind of lighting up the screen a little bit. But when you have your stage lighting intentionally placed in the right spots and you're lighting people generally in the front of the stage, it really does allow you to have that effect of adding in these elements. You know, that go back to that orb again.
Yeah.
I just love how clean that looks. Again, when just how black it is around the orb, right? So just be thinking of that, guys, too, because like you could utilize these same techniques with a projection screen, but it might be a little bit more limiting. I know the projection screen we had here before, like you just wouldn't have gotten that same effect.
Totally. And I mean, even shout out to this wall too, because I've been in a number of situations where we have an LED wall, but the quality of it, you know, you still have all these weird things that are going on in the shadows. This wall is stunning, and I'm not just saying that. Like, this really is exactly what I'm hoping for as a visuals designer. Like, this just brings everything to life, and it helps kind of bridge that gap between what we're creating and being intentional about on the screen here on our computer and bringing that to life here. That transition is so smooth with a product like this.
Thank you so much, Ezra, for walking us through like really what I feel like now is a pretty simple process of adding these ingredients or building on top of one another for a worship song, doing it in a way that's tasteful, that's thoughtful, that's not going to be distracting, yet still very powerful and impactful. Go to sundayscreens.com to check out these ingredients that you saw here within Resolume, and go check out the Sunday Screens YouTube channel and subscribe to it, because I know they're going to be coming out with a lot more in-depth content on using Resolume and programming this software. As always, if you would like a quote for an LED wall for your church, reach out to us at Altitude LED Systems. Go to altitudeled.com and you can fill out a quick form and we'll be in touch with you shortly. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time.